Hello everybody, LT with Band of Brothers. Welcome to the interview where we sit down with local field owners and we talk to them about their field, how long they've been in business. We're joined with Chad Roteman.
Close enough.
Thanks for coming. We're here at our winter retreat here this year, 2016. Chad, tell us a little bit about your field.
Well, it's a 40-acre field. We got decent parking. We've been open since 2006 as a actual field. We've been playing out there for years, though.
Start off just as a backyard field?
Oh, yeah, just a couple guys getting together. My friends were always telling me, you got to do something with this place. You got to do something with this place. Got more and more people together. And one of our final games, and I think it was 98, we had almost 100 people there for a backyard game.
That's how it starts for a lot of us, right in our own backyards. Now, it sits on your property, and then you come up to state land?
It's my parents' property. We lease it for $1.
Oh, cool.
No, it's pretty cheap. It's economical. you
And it's all so you said 40 acres?
Yeah.
And how much of that is playable?
About 25 to 30 of it is playable. It seems like a lot more when you're out there doing it because it's more long than it is wide.
Correct.
So you cover some miles when you're running my property.
And how long have you been doing scenario games?
We've been doing it, like I said, since 2006 we incorporated. We did a few before that. The one that was almost 100 people, that was actually a Lord of the Rings game. And it was before the movies came out, we decided to do a series like that just for kicks,
Right.
And that's when we had all those people come out. It was like, wow, we got to do something.
Nice. Yeah, I was able to come to your field 2 years ago now and command a Predator game, or the Terminator game for payroll. It was your first payroll production?
First payroll game, yeah.
We had bad weather, but it was still a great weekend.
In horrible weather.
Yeah, everybody I think kind of bailed, and then
I almost bailed.
Yeah. No, it was rough, but people still came out. We still had a great time.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what made you actually put it together and open it up for actual public play.
Well, a couple friends of mine, Carl and Bob, were talking to me, and I had mentioned it to my father that he really should have that property work for him. It was a Christmas tree farm for a long time.
Yeah.
Problem with Christmas trees is that after a while, the people went to plastic, and we had a lot less tree sales, and sales had dwindled from 7, 8, 9, 10,000 per year down to about 1, maybe 2. So my dad was thinking, he needs something to help pay the taxes at the end of the year. So he's actually a silent partner with me on it.
Nice. And your field manager, how long has he been with you?
Charles?
Charles
has been there for, several years now. I mean, I didn't start out with Charles as a manager. It was Brian Peckham. It was a decent guy. And then Charles came along as field captain of, one of the field team's captains of Vindex, Sanctix Vindex.
Okay. And
he's a great guy, is really good with people. So I decided that it wouldn't hurt to have 2 managers of the field.
Right.
And then when Brian had quit last year and Charles took over full time as in the main manager position. So that's where he comes in at. He runs the field great. I can leave and not have to worry about things not getting done.
Right. And how many markers can you guys have for a rental weekend? What type of capacity do you have?
It's anywhere between 40 and 60 at any given time. We just got electronic markers to rent now. So that's just something new to us.
What type of marker is that?
You know what? I don't even know what type. They're so old.
Oh, really?
Well, we bought them from a field that went out of business, and they still had them. But the guy had put a lot of money into like the barrels and the boards and everything. And I had the extra money, so I'm like, yeah, I'll buy them. They're like an old Smart Parts Ion. They're close to an Ion.
Okay. And those guys. Do you allow full auto on your field?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Shouldn't. I got a lot of complaints about it, but then then there's some people that are like really jazzed out about not having to worry about that.
The whole issue with auto versus semi-auto. Some people do it because insurance. You know. Dave Massey long ago went to a convention with owners and actually put on a demonstration where you could not tell who was actually firing semi-auto and who was firing auto.
Oh, right.
Did you hear about that story?
No, I didn't hear about it, but I know for certain that there's some people who can walk a trigger just as fast or faster than an automatic's capable of doing.
Right, and that's part of the problem for us. Myself, I'm a classic Tippmann player, so those guns can't fire as fast as most electronic markers. So they can walk faster on semi than I can shoot on full auto.
Well, the Tippmann, I fell in love with Tippmann's from the start. Tippmann is an awesome marker. It is unbelievably tough. I've seen a person whiz one at a tree before.
Yeah.
And pick it up and fire afterwards, after he calmed down.
Right.
But a Tippmann, they've got one in there where you can fire when you pull the trigger, and it fires when you let off on the trigger.
Yeah.
That is capable of just devastating anybody with an automatic trigger.
Nice.
I mean, it's unbelievably fast.
Those guns, I've seen guys tumble down hills, guns roll all the way to the end, and they pick it right back up. Fire a shot, clear the dust out of the barrel, and keep going right on down the field, taking people out. Yep. It's a lot of fun.
It's a marker that you can buy and you'll still have years later.
Correct. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after these words.
Introducing the MagFed Tactical Compact Rifle, or TCR for short. Well worth the wait, it's not your ordinary MagFed marker. It's made at Tippmann headquarters in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where everything is done, including R&D, manufacturing and assembly, and product testing. Get your hands on the TCR, the most versatile American-made MagFed marker on the field.
And we're back. Again, we're joined with Chad. He's the field owner and manager of Landing Zone Paintball in
Columbiaville, Michigan, yep.
Columbiaville, Michigan. Out in the middle of nowhere, really.
Absolutely nowhere.
Absolutely. You come down this road, you go down this road. There is a road that's a dead end. It says it's open on Google Maps, but actually Greg Muller got stuck there when he had a blowout. Couldn't turn around.
Yeah, I had to go get him.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Let's talk about what you guys are doing this year for 2016 as far as scenario games. How many games are we looking at this year?
We've gotten to the point that we're no longer offering like an open play. No one wants to go out into the middle of nowhere to play a game that's not designed around something. So we're switching to all scenario games. We'll have a payroll event, one payroll event, and the other ones will be our Normandy events. Now, our Normandy events pull a lot of people. Everything else just seems to not interest everybody. Everybody wants to get out there for Normandy, but the other ones, they just kind of go around. So we're doing 3 Normandy events this year.
Okay.
We'll do one at the beginning of the year to start everything off, one in the end of the year to end it, and then we got a 2-day event scheduled for the middle of the year.
Talk about the redesign of the field. I hear that's going to be pretty cool.
Yes, we're going to take a bulldozer down there, and we're going to bulldoze a huge section of the field all the way over to Russia. So you know where that big red barn is?
Yes.
All that over is going to be Normandy.
Let's get rid of that barn.
Or incorporate it.
Yeah, well, you could. I guess you could.
Be a good place to park tanks.
Well, you could park tanks in there. You could also build some CQB quarters in there.
It's true.
Close quarter combat scenarios.
One of the guys had suggested opening the doors, putting a screen in there, and making it a fighting area. Put the screen off one half of the barn, and just make it so people can go through and fight around it.
Well, make them work through a maze. Because,
there you go.
Especially for pistol players, a lot of them like to get into a corner and they just wait for you to come around that corner and hit you square in the chest. So you're going to expand the field.
Yep, we're going to expand the field. The castle is getting redesigned. They already started. You didn't see it this year.
No, we didn't make it out last year.
Yep, they brought out parapets out to the edges, and then they're going to surround it with a wall.
Nice.
So it'll be completely surrounded. That's for that. We're going to take the speedball area down. We're going to redesign that. I got a buddy that's working on that. It's called the Wall.
Okay.
It's like a giant. It's like 3 giant snakes that go right down the field.
Nice.
So it's going to make some interesting play.
Do you have how much swamp area do you have on your field?
If you go far enough back, which most people don't have enough guts to, but if you go far enough back, you run across a river and it flows down into the state land. I always tell everybody, if you reach large body of water, turn around.
Yes.
We've had people get back there and get lost.
We actually swept around the back 40 there, and we didn't realize we were actually past the boundaries. We started walking. We see all the players over here playing. We're like, I looked at our squad and I said, I think we're in the wrong area, because it was I was the president for that game, the leader for that game. They had to escort me around that part of the
really?
field. Yeah, we ended up in the back 40, kind of lost, and when we showed up, we ended up having to engage those guys, and they were like, "Where the hell did you guys come from?" Somewhere over there. So
it's funny because of the way the law is that the township has on us. Yeah. We can't boundary it off. We can't put a boundary line. We have to have tied things to a tree.
Right.
And if you're looking at the ground where you're stepping or looking up in the air for people hiding or whatever, you're going to miss that sometimes.
Yeah, don't catch anybody in a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had too many problems with that in the past. Let's talk about what type of paint you guys are shooting this year.
We shoot primarily graffiti. I want to get down to where I only have one kind, one box to sell, because it's a bring your own field.
Right.
Anybody can bring anything they want, except for the payroll game, which we'll make it a Vulcan only game.
PO for that event.
Yeah, but it's bring your own on that one too, so you don't have to just buy our paint.
Okay.
We have competitive prices, but like I said, housing paint can be a bummer. It's very difficult where I'm at, because you're either too hot or too cold, and you need to have your paint at a specific temperature.
And that's a problem a lot of fields have. You go, some of them have reefer trailers, some of them, some of the smaller fields that we play at, sometimes you'll get there, the paint will be great. Other days, you're in chrono and you're just spray painting their targets.
Yeah, no one likes that.
No, and it's one of the things we're going to be talking about this year with people is a lot of people don't understand that there's a difference between graffiti redemption, 3-star, 4-star, marbleizer, tournament grade stuff. I've come to find out over the last couple of years, you can't put that through every marker.
Oh no.
The rental markers tend to chew that paint up. Tippmann markers are a little rough with paint.
Yep, they're harder on the paint.
You have to have a harder shell for that. You can't use a 5-star or sometimes a marbleizer style.
Yeah, tournament grade.
Tournament grade, because it will come apart in your gun.
Right.
And to me, I always thought, what's wrong with my gun? I'm over at my buddy Scotty over there at Tippmann. Here you go, buddy. What's wrong with this gun? Why am I breaking balls? I did aftermarket parts on everything. Hundreds of dollars later, found out, well, if you switch to HPA, this is before the phase out pretty much of CO2 everywhere, because even those guns firing that rapid.
It's funny you should say that, because we get a lot of CO2 players.
Do you really?
Still. I mean, not as much as we had. When we had 100 people, we'd go through 9 tanks of CO2.
Right. Well, now you guys are also, there's a lot of MegFed. MegFed
That's true.
Really taken off. One of our Alliance teams, Team Anarchy out of Belleville, Michigan, they do a lot of MegFed. And they have the same problems they're having. They can't figure out what type of paint they're putting through their MagFeds, which causes the gun to either break the paint or weather too. Like the weekend we played, you had a MagFed. You could not shoot a MagFed marker. That
Give it up.
With the humidity was terrible.
Our temperature range for that game was like in the 30s,
and
all the way up. We had everything that Michigan could throw at us. It threw at us.
We had high winds. We had flurries.
Rained.
It rained for 2 days before you got
Oh my gosh.
The field was soaked.
I'm surprised that the people who came out there to spend the night weren't just sleeping in water. I mean,
we slept. Well, I slept. We converted our trailer into barracks. So.
But you were in a trailer.
Yes.
That's a little bit different.
And you took care of us, and we had power too, so it was nice and toasty in there as well. We had a small heater. And because we also use it for charging all the media equipment that we bring to the fields, for the videos we shoot. You're moving into airsoft a little bit this year.
A little bit, yes. We've been approached by several different teams about doing airsoft out on the field. I've been being asked a lot more than I used to about airsoft. Most of the time, the airsoft people are like, paintball? No, we'll leave them guys alone. But now they're just starting to we need a field to play on.
Right.
As a matter of fact, tomorrow, which would be Sunday the 31st, or is the 1st?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Tomorrow is actually one of our first airsoft games out there.
Right. Well, by the time the people see this video, that event will have been long.
Yeah, we'll know whether it was a success or not.
Right. Yeah, we'll do a follow up on that when we post the video. So we'll have information of stuff like that. So we're going to take a quick break again, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap this up. We'll see you back here in a little bit. back. Chad, real quick, we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you for coming out here, but I got just a couple more questions. I'm asking everybody's take on the fields that are charging outrageous prices. You've got fields over in the Chicago area. I'm sure you know the fields I'm talking about, where they take, you know, a $60 case of paint where you will make, what, probably 10, 15 bucks profit on sales. They jack it up to $90 to $80 a case. What are your thoughts on the jacking of the paint prices?
It's a phenomenon. It's strange that they can actually charge those prices, but I could never get away with it where I'm at.
No.
Absolutely not.
Nobody would.
You know, one of the things about operating in the sticks, as both you and I call it,
Right.
One of the things about operating out there is that I started it because I want everything to be economical and easy for everybody to play. I wanted to draw in all these people and make it a fun day instead of having them to worry about where they're going to come up with the money.
Right.
So my prices, you know, and even though we're under MAP pricing, we have to charge what they're asking us to charge.
Right.
There's still other things you can do by giving like vouchers and stuff like that back, or a certain amount off. I don't charge a whole lot for mine, and I can't believe that these other people can get away with it.
Right.
But they do, and people pay it.
It's something I just don't understand. You know, you take and you put 1,200 people in a field that is the size of a shoebox and charge them, was it $70 to play, I believe, for the weekend, and you know, up to $90 a case of paint. Who can afford that?
You know, the business owner in me thinks, holy crap, that's nice.
Yes. Yes.
But
I've
the
seen
player
those numbers
in me,
like
see,
that
I
for-
play.
Right.
I play, and I know what it's like to go to fields like that and get hosed. And the worst thing is going to a field, getting hosed for the paint, and having it
crap.
break
Yep.
in your gun.
Marbleizer had a very rough year last year. I've heard multiple stories about where it was made or how it was stored, or you know, which manufacturer it came from. Marbleizer used to be one of the premium.
They were.
brands.
Growing up, they
Really
were
was
awesome.
You go to fields like CPX and they had Marbleizer, and it was, you know, that's what you paid $90 for, was basically,
Right,
you know,
right.
this tournament grade ball. And people who shoot Tippmann markers, you know, you get guns like the Gatlin gun and the Tippmann Hellhound. It, you know, it puts those balls, you know, they're doing a lot of paint through there, and when paint breaks, it keeps those people off the field.
Right, and it can ruin
I was
someone's
one of those
weekend.
people for years. I'm on the sideline cleaning my gun, wondering what's wrong with my gun. What am I doing wrong? Is it freezing? Is it doing this? The techs couldn't find anything wrong. You know, and then just come to find
Right,
out
it's the paint or a bad run.
a bad run of paint. And then I'm just bad luck with paint. Then and that's you know, I think I've had one. I know I've had many good. I had a good day at your field that day. I know we had game up
In the
north.
weather we're at and that we're used to out there, you have a lot of bad days.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. I mean, once that paint gets out of our reach, there's people putting them out on the ground, and I've gone past picnic tables where it's been right in the drizzle.
Yeah.
And I've pushed it underneath the table for the guys, and it's like,
Keep your paint off the ground in your car at night, in your trailer if you're sleeping in a camper.
and a lot of people don't understand sun. The sun can destroy a paintball too.
You leave
if
the
you
bag
put
out, open it up in the sun,
Yep.
the oils and moisture in there, they start to heat up, and
Yep.
you get expansion and all that stuff.
I've had people come up and complain about it. This paint's breaking. It's a bad run. It's like, where do you keep it? And you go over there and look, and it's sitting right there in the sun.
Right.
Of course, I don't complain. I just give them new paint.
Right. And that's great that you do that, because taking care of us, the player, and you, the player,
Oh, for sure.
is a great business model. I know, you know, most of the fields we play at, those are the people we play for, because
Right.
they make sure we're taken care of. You know, from a customer standpoint, personal standpoint. You know, the fields we go to are very personable. So, Chad, we want to thank you. It was over an hour ride for you to come all the way down here to the
Thanks for
Banner
having me.
Brothers winter meeting, and we'd like to say your field again is in Columbiaville, Michigan. That is just northeast of Flint.
Right.
Don't
Just
drink
north.
the water at your field? What are we doing with the water here?
You know, we paddle our boats on the water. We don't drink it. Not that water.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. We'll see you on the field.